Hey, we're back. It's been too long. We missed you. Hopefully you missed us. And you sought us out and you're watching this right now, so we're back to give another review. I'm Jeff Johnson, as always, with the #1 homeboy in movie review.
Claude. There's the other one, and yeah, #1 homeboy team together, because yeah, we're both of us. We are number one.
Movie review man.
We're #1.
And today we're talking about is this a Netflix original? You wanna tee it up?
I don't know if it's a Netflix original per se. I actually the movie that we are looking at is the 40-year-old version, not virgin version. The 20-year-old. I'm sorry, the 40-year-old version.
The 40-year-old version, which I'm sure they knew they were making a play on the previous title.
Yeah.
And then as you watch it, of course, it's an excellent play on what it is that we're watching.
It is. It's not just a throwaway. It actually embodies what the story is about. And actually, the interesting thing about the movie was that Natasha had seen an ad for the movie. This was a while ago, and it actually was it was being shown at the Landmark, and she just sort of mentioned the title. I thought it was a quick, clever play on words, but I didn't give it a thought. It wasn't until like a couple weeks ago that I saw the trailer for it, and I was just like, oh, okay. I said, oh, okay. So this is, So I was drawn to the trailer, and I said, this is not at all. Not that I had any expectations before, but I was like, this is definitely something I want to rock with. And after seeing the movie, I actually wish that I had. I'm not going to say I wish I had gambled and seen it in the theater, but it had all the things that I appreciate in a movie theater movie. So I immediately, let homeboy #1 know that that this may be something that he wants to check out. Maybe want to check out with the missus, and because my wife and I, we enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, and you were on point. So I didn't see it with the missus, but I think it's an excellent choice for that. Excellent, smart dialogue. Just one delightful interchange of characters, dialogue after another. Multiple characters coming into the life of our main character, either through like news interview, man on the street news interview, captions from people from the neighborhood, to actually then running into those people from the neighborhood live herself, right? To the interactions between a school teacher, who's teaching theater and screenwriting, who herself is an aspiring screenwriter, and the struggles that she's having in New York as a screenwriter, when she hits an epiphany that maybe she should break into rap just around the time of her hitting her 40th birthday. So it's kind of, if you will, a midlife crisis, usually a type movie, which are typically done about men who are already in relationships and how it messes with their relationship. And here we have a single woman who is just like, what am I doing with my life? My primary pursuit, I'm not getting what I want. And, let me reach back to something that I did when I was much younger and see if I can do that again. It was delightful, had delightful dialogue. I think one of the key things that stood out to me too was when you have a movie like this, a lot of times you have secondary characters that just really, really shine, that pop. And there's so many of them in this movie, it's hard to pick out. One of the comments I don't know if I texted it to you. That's the other thing we will be adding to our show here, is that Claude and I, we correspond about film all the time. You don't understand how much we love film. We try to give you guys the extras and the hard segues, but soon we're gonna have to give you the text, the phone calls, the emails, the driving down the highway. Hey, Claude, I just thought of something. We're going to have to find a way to get all those into you so that you can understand how we truly unpack a film. And what I said, Claude, I said that the quiet parts of this film the quiet performances of this film by secondary characters leaped out to me. Um, the love interest in this story was amazingly, I mean, it had lines, but had amazingly, certainly at the introduction, the romantic interest in the story had very few lines early on. The performance was executed, not in silence, but executed with very few words. And so was one of the students. This one student, when she said something, the things that she said were just so true, genuine, on point. And I'm referring to the Puerto Rican girl in her screenwriting class. That when she did say things, they were so true and honest and straight to the point and genuine that I'm smiling about it now. They make you smile and they cut right to the matter. They cut right to the matter. And so when I look at the performances in this film, I say, well, man, some of those people who had the fewest lines had the strongest performances. So I thought it was a delight. I'm glad that you pointed out to me. I felt like even watching the second time before we got a chance to review it again, because it was that fun. The bum on the street, the rhymes that she came up with were they're appropriate in every way. They're appropriate in every way. They're as fitting as you might expect. You're like, well, how good is she going to be? Will she drop like Jay-Z the first time? Will what she's saying be really true, important, funny, and relevant to the story? Yes. Completely. Entirely.
Yes.
It's not just cornball, like, ha ha ha, she thought she could rap, she goes up there and it's terrible. Isn't it funny that what she said was terrible? That would be a much, much lesser film. It was like, okay, no, she's not flowing like everybody, she's flowing exactly like you might expect, but the things she's talking about are like really true and deep and profound and straight from their heart. And that was the whole point. Is that she was being more true and honest and genuine, and then she started being more true and honest and genuine through the rest of her in other aspects of her life. And the more she started doing that, then everything in her life started to get better. And for the people around her.
So that was the thing that she sort of had to build up to. First of all, funny that you mentioned the texting, because it just went from being movie review man to movie review man, because I think half the text, the text basically covered half of the stuff that I thought about this movie, because you hit on all the stuff that this goes to show that we're aware of each other's, how familiar we are with each other's taste. Pretty much it was definitely, it sort of brought me back to sort of like the romantic comedies or certain movies that I saw in the 1990s at the beginning of the independent film movement. It was shot in black and white. They shot, New York looked great. Which is one of the reasons why I said, damn, I wish I could see this in the theater, because it's definitely something I would have rocked with. And everything that you said, I completely agree with. The students in the class, the different characters that were around her, and I also appreciated certain aspects of it, because the whole idea of one detail you missed out on was that she had a very successful play earlier in her career. She was one of these up-and-coming stars years ago.
Right.
There was a 30 under 30, and she literally was the best out of the 30 under 30. But again, I think it tells. So one thing that we're introduced to is the whole idea that even though you have a lot of talent and a lot of promise, it's very hard for an artist to get there, and you learn that more, number one, from her story and the story that she shares about her family. But I had to honestly say, when she started rapping and just certain things I noticed because I know people who were in the creative space. That whole song, that poverty porn song, was straight out on the note. That was actually, I was just absolutely, because it's like, if you are willing to do certain or tell a certain type of story, the artistic community will definitely reach out to you. You will get plays made. You probably have an easier deal in terms of getting like TVs and movies done. You know, if you have the story about the scholarship winner who gets shot on, after getting the basketball scholarship and all that type of stuff, or you have the single mom who's struggling with a crack addict and all, crack problem or whatever. I mean, these are the kinds of things that they push through. So all the characters that just her journey, I thought was definitely on point, and I think a lot of people during the creative space definitely recognize these certain things that are expected. That producer, who basically, like, every time he talked about his project was changing. It started from saying that she was gonna, asking the lady, "Oh, well, you're gonna help me with my musical version of Harriet Tubman," and then another person referred, "Oh yeah, the project about Ida B. Wells," and but it's like every time they mentioned this project that he wanted to do, it was just him cannibalizing. He did two things. He wanted to either take a black heroine, turn it into a musical. They had another white character, or he basically took something that had an all-male cast and made it female. I mean, this was basically what this poser was doing.
This is what this producer's whole hook was, right?
His whole bread and butter, which was
his
so
whole bread
funny.
and butter. A man, right? An old, white man producer who's making his whole career out of taking some Black history hero or a celebrated Black storyline and project and turn it into a musical so you can have a hit musical.
Yeah. Or something that was established like 12 Angry Men and say, "Oh, it's with all women," or something and with all women.
Right. Right. And somehow his whole hook is he's gonna make it diverse.
Yes, that's the thing. There's this whole code woke stuff.
Right. What was the 12 Angry Men? He said he made 12 Angry Men. What if it was 12 Angry Women? That was his whole hook, right?
Yeah, that's what he did. That was a play that supposedly he did. So
that was
it was funny characters all over the place. I love the her agent, which was her friend. The whole world they created was really fascinating, and going back to the young lady that you mentioned, the kids definitely had they could have been quote unquote New York stock character kids, but I was completely rocking. I absolutely love the kid, the little girl that sort of had a crush on her and was pushing for her. Basically gave her the idea for her name and
yes,
Rodimus Prime. Oh, you're better than these Decepticons. I mean, just the whole thing. She was just peppered with a lot of stuff.
Then it comes full circle.
The two friends creating the play, they were good. The guy,
the ridiculously profane play that she's so caught up in her own problems that she just agrees that to let them do their play, which there's just no way that the school would allow her to do it. Once the principal finds out the subject matter of this play, her career's gonna be over. But she's paying so little attention to what's going on. She's like, fine. What you guys just said, that's what we're gonna do. And they're like, that's what we're gonna do?
Yeah. Like, what? Oh God. And then you have the quiet girl who had skills, and you find out why she's quiet. You had the sort of like the hypersexual hustle boy who's trying to put his moves, on everybody, and the whole thing that she was like, I cannot, but slightly attracted to him, but she kept it.
No, she made it completely hilarious. She's like, he called her agent. She says, "Look, you're gonna have to get me some work here because I'm gonna be having sex with somebody up in here."
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, she just took. I mean, she created this. She just took this. I enjoyed her world. I enjoyed who she was. I enjoyed, her struggle. The her rapping was definitely just sort of, again, something a 40-year-old or someone our age would rock with, because they had touches of, the great storytellings of like 90s hip hop. I just the whole thing. I was really. I was really, I was really rocking with the whole thing. And like you said, the delightful characters around the neighborhood. I mean, I guess the one thing, and I'm not even saying it necessarily as a criticism per se, the sort of the documentary thing just sort of seemed out of place, because it wasn't like we saw her using her phone to do anything per se. But I was fine with it. I was fine peppering, hearing the lady, and then the street guy across the street, who was comedy relief, and then but then also, just sort of had his little scene stealing moment, about
Correct.
not being the magical dude, just
Correct. Correct. Yeah. He was in there to steal some scenes in just the perfect way, and basically to make sure that the film was both self-aware and making fun of itself, to make sure that the film itself didn't delve into the poverty porn that it both made fun of. Like you said, it's interesting how we were saying how beautifully filmed, how beautiful New York City looked in black and white. It's one of those examples of when you do black and white really well, you end up looking back on it and saying, oh yeah, that was in black and white. Yes, because it really now is. It wasn't. You weren't blown away. This is coming from Jeff, who spends far too much time complaining about the technology and how the image is projected. And I just bought these brand new TVs, and can I please get the full digital experience so I can say I'm happy about digital? But you're watching this black and white film, and you're like, wow, this looks amazing. And then you look back and say, oh yeah, it looks amazing. Like the Seven Samurai looks amazing. That's just excellent cinematography. The images that you are watching are amazing, not the color. Not the high definition, multi-range color spectrum. The images that you're watching are amazing. The performances you're watching are amazing, and the words are amazing. And you're like, oh yeah, and it was in black and white. You really will think about it in those terms, because that's how I thought about it. Because I'm halfway through it, and then I'm at the end, I'm like, oh yeah, that's interesting that they did this in black and white. And that's really all I had to say about the black and white, because everything else is like, this is so true. This is so nice looking. These characters are popping. Their dialogue is popping. Everything's popping, but the color isn't popping because it wasn't in color.
Yeah, they didn't need to. Yeah.
And it didn't need to be. And yeah, you're right.
The black and white pop, though, I thought it looked beautiful. That I did, But yeah,
it's impressively so.
Yeah, it's just beautiful in terms of how how they compose the shots with New York. I mean, I'm not gonna put it like like Raging Bull or something, But I mean, it's But I enjoy it. The aesthetic was great,
and that's why I put in my text to you, because I knew you would. So not only is it great looking, and I enjoyed it, and I love me some Chicago all things, as you have heard in all aspects of our review show. And I know that you and Natasha love Chicago, but you all have a special place for New York in your heart. And so a film like this, and anyone who has a special place for New York in their heart will love it. You'll love. You'll love it probably in the same way that, I love films, no matter how terrible they are, to see scenes shot in The Chi. And the characters' names were interesting and fun, and the romance that's in there with Dee's Beats.
Her view of the whole theater world, like, oh come on, the guy at the workshop theater dude, that dude was so straight out hilarious.
Right. What was it?
His flamboyant, just the way he sort of like his exaggerated eyes, and just like, oh, well, speak to the ancestors.
Yeah, and his theater is not YouTube.
It's black and pure,
His theater wasn't YouTube. His theater was Umoja. Umoja, yeah. It was just all just wonderfully well done, and just excellent, worth watching.
Yeah.
And you're right, you probably would have enjoyed it in the theater, but it's fully and entirely enjoyable the good
Oh
on
yeah.
television screen.
Oh,
I think
of course.
you really will. Again, as much as I go, wow, I really want to get the best experience out of watching. I don't even remember to be honest with you, what device I watched it on. Um, I don't. We're in that era now where those who are watching us right now are watching it on a gazillion different devices. But you will enjoy it on either one of these devices. Like I said, the fact that it was shot in black and white should have been something that maybe grabbed me right away, one way or the other. And the fact that it didn't is a testament to how the cinematographer and just how well and beautifully it was shot. That's just like, I may be overemphasizing that point, but
Yeah.
I'm making that point clear because
Yeah.
it's
No,
that well done. It's that well done.
no,
It almost heightens
Mhm.
how well done it was because of shooting in black and white.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely see it because there's just this one thing, especially with younger movie viewers, they're like, "What is black and white?"
Right.
The fact that it just sort of flowed and yeah.
Well, I'm one of those people, even at our age. In fact, especially at our age, right? Because when we were coming up and when we were younger, anything black and white was old, and people weren't trying to be cute to show something in black and white. It was just an old film. It was a rerun. These are terms again, not of this century. Once upon a time, there was a thing called a rerun. What do you mean, Jeff? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
If they play it once and then they play it again, it's a rerun. Oh, you mean on demand? No. There was no on demand, and there was no way for you to see it another time until they play it again. But some of these suckers, they played so many times again that they were ancient. And so I discriminated against things that were black and white when we were little.
Mm-hmm.
If I was black and white, I didn't want to go see it. Usually it was on TV, and I would turn the channel fast. Right? And then only later, when we became more sophisticated, we found that people made things in black and white by choice. And let's go ahead and give that homage. Spike Lee did She's Gotta Have It in black and white for a lot of different reasons, but he knew, it would be an opportunity to give more an artistic effect. This film, did they do that so that you could think Spike? I don't know, maybe. But if they did, that's good because, that's a tribute to great film. But again, like what we're saying is that it's just done so wonderfully well that if you didn't give black and white films a chance before, you must give this black and white film a chance. And you shouldn't be giving it a chance just because it's black and white. You should be watching it. And you shouldn't be giving it a chance just because it had a clever play on word title, 40-year version. You should go see it because what a wonderful, dialogue, delightful, visually stunning, and amazing black and white film it is. Yep. And so it's the 40-year version. Let us know what you think. We've told you what we think. I think what we told you is it's amazing, good, awesome. Catch it in heavy rotation now.
Catch it on Netflix or wherever you can catch it. And I can honestly say I'm just really glad that, I guess I don't know the story, but I guess Lena Waithe is one of the producers, so I'm glad she put her name behind it and what a revelation, the artist Radha Mitchell, so I mean I'm definitely looking to see what other stuff she does and yeah, overall definitely giving it the double thumbs up. If I had more hands, I'd put some more thumbs up.
So that's what we think. Let us know what you think. We'll be back again with another review We're your movie review, man. I'm Jeff Johnson.
Claude Faitier.
See you next time.